Trick edition of the PHNX Suns post-game show. Of course, brought to you by our friends over at Bet365. Sign up, use code PHNX365. Get $5 off. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice right now. We are presented by Bet365. Thank you, Bet365. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. I am all scramble-brained right now as the Phoenix Suns picked up a 113-110 victory over the Orlando Magic. Espo.
Jalen, open that drawer. Put the Orlando Magic in said drawer, put that toe tag on, and slam the drawer shut because the morgue has taken another victim.
I think it's very fitting that this post-game show got off to a little bit of a rocky start, and now we're going to come out there for the win because that's exactly what happened tonight. Of course, brought to you by our friends over at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHNX365. Deposit 10, place a bet for 5. Get $200 in bonus bets because that was a moment. Jalen Green with a buzzer-beating win after a, let's just call it less than ideal rest of the game.
He took a beating, and then he
made his last shot. That's all that matters. He made his last shot.
I mean, Gil, I don't know, man. What a moment.
I mean, if I had to list how many things happened in this game, I would run out of breath talking about it. So there was 4, 5, maybe 6 different games in one that we just watched tonight. It was nuts. It was crazy, but you know, everything that was going wrong and everything that went wrong in this game, to come out with a win, to come out with this kind of win, it could be a point of inflection for this team to kind of get back on the right track, because you get a lot of momentum for finding ways to win games like this.
Yeah, if you have anybody left,
yeah,
eventually too. But no, this would have been a backbreaking kind of loss, especially having to play another game in 24 hours. So getting that and getting it in the way you did, regardless of how bad it looked at times, regardless of how good they looked at other times, this was a game you had to get, and they found a way to get it, and that is exactly. You couldn't have done anything else. If you lost this game, everybody's in panic mode. The team probably is questioning some things. Instead, you entertain the damn kids on Kids Day.
I thought you were about to say everybody's in pain.
Well, that's true.
Half the team is in
mentally
pain.
and physically, everybody is in pain.
Well, look, the moment of the buzzer beater is obviously our Love the Play presented by our friends over at Arizona Lottery. If you're over the age of 21, play and give today. But to me, it wasn't just the 3 that Jalen Green hit, because that's a big moment. We'll talk about what that means to him. It's been a very hard year on Jalen Green. It was a very hard 5 periods of play for him before double overtime. But afterwards, every one of the Suns players running up to him and mobbing him, because they have been experiencing this season with him, the highs and majority lows that he's gone through. Him having this moment in front of the home crowd and then going over to Devin Booker, who obviously is dealing with a hip strain. We could talk about that later, and dapping him up and almost getting that, not the chip off your shoulder, but just that weight, right? Because clearly, Jalen Green felt some sort of pressure this game to deliver. It's why he took so many shots. His free throws weren't falling. His jumpers weren't falling. He wasn't getting any foul calls. And to be at the end of the game and to still have the confidence to take the shot, let alone hit it, for a guy who's had to jump through so many mental hurdles, man, I'm just so glad that he gets this moment.
Well, 2 things. You could see the relief when he was talking to Amanda Flugbrad, because he said, thank God I needed that one. right? And then he talked about how that was his first game winner ever. I believe he meant in the NBA. I can't imagine it's the first one ever in his basketball playing days, but that was huge. And the play wasn't to him. He said it to Amanda. And if you watch that play, it's actually to Colin. It's the play that they ran for Grayson against Utah a handful of years, or a year ago, that they showed, and they run a handful of times since, where they kind of lob the ball over. Colin isn't in a position to get it on the inbound, so Jalen comes back to the ball on a smart thought and gets that look, and it's not an easy shot. That may have been actually the hardest shot he took all game, at least from deep, and he hits it falling out of bounds. That was a huge play and the kind of thing that can shift a momentum for a guy like that who struggled mightily, and people were going to be pretty pissed off about.
And I think so too. Like, I think the big part with that as well is I can sense there was some tension and some frustration. I know that this fan base and those that were there, all 17,000 plus, another sellout crowd at the morgue, believe in him, but I can understand that the patience is probably thinning a little bit. He's had trouble staying on the court for some reasons that he couldn't control. He had a rough game tonight. And the fact that he was able to close it that way, and for this to happen in front of his home fans in his new home, I think says so much about this moment and what it can mean for him, as you said, Espo, big picture, because looking back at this, for him to have now another signature moment to add to what he's done in front of these fans, to give you that confidence that, look, the best of the best have all had off nights, but they forget those first 20 shots they missed when it comes to that one. And he had 2 back-to-back big plays, because to go up, that should have been an and one, put them up by 3 and obviously Javon Carter tied things up after that. But he had some major moments in the clutch, especially after struggling all game, and that's huge for him and his confidence moving.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. Boom, Joseph, Carlos, Euphoria, Guido, everybody that's in there, and everybody that is pushing the Green Goblin nickname. Ooh. I love it. You guys are great. I think we're going to roll with that as well, because you know what? He was his own sort of villain tonight, both to himself and then to the Magic. So Green Goblin it is.
Jalen Green looks at the tween hezzy mid-range pull-up like the Green Goblin looks at his mask, man. And tonight, it wasn't going for him. By the way, so many super chats coming in. We'll get to those a little bit later. Thank you all for sending those in. We won't ignore those, I promise. The thing with Jalen is he is such a divisive player on all socials, and obviously Rockets fans had a very love-hate relationship with him. Mm-hmm. There's really no middle ground when it comes to him. It's always, this guy's going to be really good or this guy's going to suck. Like, that is what the discourse feels like with him. And I get it, because there are some really low lows along with really high highs. I will say there is a lot about this game that you can take from Jalen Green, and I'm sure that they will in film. That's like, man, you got to do a little bit better than that. Mm-hmm. But there are not a lot of players that have the mental fortitude to fight through that. Yes. And I feel like tonight's game was very much a representation of what Jalen Green has gone through so far this season, right? The shots aren't falling. The foul calls aren't going your way. You've missed 20 jump shots, right? But at the end of the day, you still have to power through. The worst thing that you can do as an NBA player is lose your confidence. We've seen Ryan Dunn go through that at certain points. We've seen a lot of guys go through and lose their confidence. That is not happening with Jalen, despite all the BS that's been thrown his way that he's had to overcome. And he is a good basketball player. He's not a perfect one, but he is good. And he showed tonight a variety of reasons of why the Suns need him to be good for this to work out. It might not have happened tonight, but he was good when they needed him to, and that was in the clutch.
That speaks to what we've said about this team so much, with confidence and belief, and Jordan Ott instilling confidence in his players. And I mean, think about the everything that has to go together for this final play of the game, right? Like, obviously Royce O'Neal made the right basketball play and saw an open Jalen Green and believed in him and said, look, my guy's 5 of 25 right now, but he's going to get a good look, and I trust him. Mm-hmm. He could have forced something else. He could have done something else. They didn't have any more timeouts. He
could have forced that pass to Colin.
He could have forced it. We've seen that happen before. Mm-hmm. Pass gets deflected. We're still watching the game. It's in triple overtime.
Yes.
But believing in your guy who's had an abysmal night shooting from the free throw line, and him having the confidence, I think that it works like a revolving door. I said that so much. Confidence is a revolving door. People believing in you puts that confidence back in yourself, and then you proving them right allows them to continue to believe in you. And we saw that from Jalen Green in that moment, and I think that that will say so much. I think that's why this could be a big turning point for this franchise or this team as where they are right now, 1-4 in the last 5 coming into today, and now having this moment to look on. And then he probably will have a better game the next time he takes the floor. I don't know if he's going to play in a back-to-back. We'll get to that when it happens. But that moment is just big for him because I think going forward, it gives him that confidence, continue to believe, because had this ended with a loss, had this ended with him missing 20 shots in a loss and not making the game winner, who knows what that would have done for him moving forward.
We're not even talking, though. The final 33 seconds, he had 2 big buckets.
Yeah, he hit, we have a video here of this layup that he hit, which was also extremely tough. I mean, when you see the highlights of Jalen Green, I think the reason why Rockets fans get so upset when somebody just posts highlights of him, as somebody who's done that and gotten the wrath of Rockets fans recently, is because like these highlights are so insane. I mean, he has probably top 1% highlights. We're still waiting for that dunk. We got robbed multiple times.
We'll get it.
Thank you, Desmond Bane, for fouling out on that, though. But that layup, he did eventually hit a free throw in the double overtime period. He put the game away. Another important number for Jalen Green is the number 37. That's how many minutes he played tonight.
Right.
That's a season high for Jalen Green. We were having the conversation when he was struggling. Does he continue to play minutes tonight because he hasn't cracked that 30 spot at all this season once? He did. He went past it, and he actually got better, and maybe it was good that he kept playing, because if you took him out and ended on that low note, right, instead of this moment, that is something that you're probably carrying into tomorrow's game if he plays,
right?
Because who knows if he's going to play tomorrow on the second night of a back-to-back.
He has to.
I don't know if he has to. I don't know if he has to play.
It looks like the MASH unit right now.
It's fair, yeah.
The injury list tomorrow is going to be 2 pages long, is where we're going to be at. Like, at this point, man, he went out there and, God, it was brutal for a lot of that. And we were screaming about free throws. You cannot go, what was it, 2 for 6 from the free throw line. This game would have been a lot different if the Suns had hit some of their free throws. But when it came down to it, in the clutch, he stepped up, and that's what big-time players do. Is it doesn't matter if you're 5 of 25. If the 6th one is the chance to win the game in a big high-leverage situation, you make it. He did tonight, and you know what? Houston fans can feel whatever way they want. Jalen Green's in a Suns uniform, and he just won a game.
I think the other part about it too is as a young player doing that, right? He hasn't been. He's a young veteran, but he's 24 years old. So a lot of times, how many young players do you see when they are 4 of 24? Because again, his 2 biggest buckets, that stretch came when he was 4 of 24. Said, you know what? Let me give it to somebody else. They're the hot hand. That ultimate belief, that little bit of delusion that you have to continue and act like you're 0 for 0. Act like this is the first shot you've taken that night. Act like, I mean, and that play that we showed the video of, that was what was most impressive, that he did have those few bright spots in the first half when he got those switches with bigs on him. He was getting downhill and he was finishing around the rim. Some of those misses tonight were just him having bad angles and not being able to finish. Now, there were some looks that he probably shouldn't have gone for and some things that weren't in the flow of offense, but I was most impressed with his ability to be shifty and take advantage of those mismatches, which I expect to see much more of, because, again, he hasn't played in that many games either. So this is still him getting his legs under him, getting his flow going, and I think he'll be even better, a week or two, as long as he just keeps getting by without any hiccups. And I'm really impressed that he played 37 minutes.
Isn't it obvious by now who our dude of the night is? Presented by our friends over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you. At Gila River Resorts and Casinos, visit playatgila.com for full details. Let's run through just his full stat line here and our final thoughts on the Jalen Green buzzer beater before we take a break. 37 minutes, 16 points, 6 of 26 from the field, 2 of 11 from deep, 2 of 6 from the free throw line. But 7 rebounds, 5 assists, only 1 turnover, and 3 steals. Very active on defense. I think a good defensive game from Jalen Green, minus a couple of fouls that he had there. I'm just so happy for him, man. I'm so happy for him. And you had a good game last game. And I think today you'll look at the stats, but if you watch the game, some of the things that you mentioned, Gil, like you see what Jalen can bring when he did get downhill and finish at the rim. He had a lot of really great passes, specifically to the bigs in Oso and to Mark, which again ends up with 5 assists to 1 turnover. That's a great ratio for him tonight. Crashing the board, 7 rebounds was the 3rd highest on the team, although a lot of guys did grab 7. He was somebody, Espo, who wasn't just chucking shots and then running down the other end of the court disengaged. He stayed engaged. He played defense. He rebounded. He passed the ball well, and he also took a lot of shots.
He looked bad offensively. Let's just say it. And to your point, Gilly could have shrunk. You could disappear in those moments just because you haven't played well. But staying engaged, Eric, like you're talking about, doing those other things is huge to keep you energetic, keep you going in a game where you're playing as badly as he was offensively. And you know what? That's what he had a steal or two the other night as well. He's playing good defensively for the most part. Like, it's going to take time to find rhythm. It's going to take time to understand what this is. And right now, you've got so many weird rotations for the Suns that I think inevitably you're going to get bad shot choices from a lot of guys. And we saw that at different times in this game. So kudos to Jalen Green for coming out and doing those other things, but also not shrinking in those final 33 seconds, because without him in those final 33 seconds, they lose this game. Everybody's in a panic mode. All things are much worse than they are after you get a double overtime win.
The thing I was thinking about with him too, rewinding back to the first overtime, you mentioned he had 7 boards. There was one, he in transition, Royce misses a transition 3. Jalen Green gets the offensive rebound, creates another possession, and that gave the Suns their first lead of overtime 1, which we thought had put them ahead for good in that game as well. So another reminder that being clutch isn't always just making the game winner, which obviously is the definition of clutch, but getting clutch offensive rebounds. And I think that goes in line with the ball finding energy and the basketball gods rewarding you for playing the right way. Because as you mentioned, he could have mailed it in as a scorer, but he also could have mailed it in and just moped and stopped rebounding and stopped playing with effort.
We had a guy like that.
So I've heard. And
which one? We've had a couple.
Right.
You can take your pick.
But I think that's why things kind of turned and revolved and went in his favor, because he kept playing the right way and he kept putting it into the game the right way, and then it kind of gave it back to him.
Well, and that's the identity of this team. People were wondering if Jalen Green's going to fit in. I mean, the Suns were down double digits at halftime. They clawed back. They responded great coming out of half. And then Orlando claws back as well, and it's just this back and forth battle in OT, and the Suns just never gave up. And this is another win this season where the Suns probably shouldn't have won the game.
But that's the best part is, there was concern. Where has that edge gone? Where is that fight gone? Where is that team that we've seen for 2/3 of the season gone? The last 5 games, it wasn't really there. Tonight, you started to think when they went down double digits, are we seeing another one where they're going to just turtle shell this and disappear? And no, they came back, they swung, they fought. And there were multiple times where they could have just laid down and let the Magic just run roughshod. They didn't, and they fought hard. And going into that second overtime, shorthanded, another opportunity where they could have just been like, you know what, Paolo Banchero is just going to back us down. We're done for it. No, they went out, they fought even after a back-breaking 3 to tie it there with a second left.
Yeah, from PB no J to PB no W, the Suns took down the Orlando Magic. Some housekeeping before we hit our break. A couple MVPs. Actually, 10 new MVPs, courtesy one of Espo, who gifted 5 memberships. So, MVP. Damn, Gil kind of left you hanging on that.
That's fine. He was speechless by my generosity.
Big shout out, couple of familiar faces who got that. AIA Edits got it. Mesa for Teens Kev got it. I know Schreier's in here. He's always in the Cardinals chat. He got that too. A lot of people who are in here all the time, but not as active in chat. And then Kara said, I can't let Espo get all the credit. Kara also gifted 5 memberships. MVP.
And then hit that like button while you're all in here too.
Hit the like button to see a nice little basketball emoji, huh? That'd be pretty fun. And hit the subscribe button too. If you missed our watch along, that was a lot of fun. You can go to the very end of it to see our reaction. That was such a great time. We're going to continue to react to this game. We'll talk more about Jalen Green. He wasn't the only reason why the Suns won this game. So we're going to talk about the rest of the team. We're going to read your super chats. We're going to do all of that on the other side of our first break. Always love telling you about our friends over at the Husband and Wife Law Team, because you never know what's going to happen in life, and sometimes it's a great mystery, like today's game where Jalen Green hits a game winner, and sometimes life throws you a curveball. You get in an accident or you suffer a serious injury, and when you get into that situation, the first call that you make, it matters. That's why it's got to go to the Husband and Wife Law Team and Mark and Alexis Breyer. 602-783 8841. That is a number that's not only going to get you experience, it's not only going to give you care and know-how, it's going to give you guarantees, which are hard to find in this world. They guarantee you can cancel your fee agreement at any time for any reason. They guarantee you'll receive at least as much in your pocket as they receive for their fee, even if they have to reduce their attorney's fee to do so. They guarantee that you may speak with one of their lawyers at any time, as often as you choose, and they'll always tell you the strengths and weaknesses of your case. So if you've had a serious injury, call the husband and wife law team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website, the link in our show notes, and tell them that PHNX sent you.
I'll say police should be your first call. Then you call the husband and wife law team. But I got to tell you about our friends at Window Depot. Our friends over there, if you're looking to redo your bathroom, maybe your kitchen, maybe you got flooring that you want to do, you can do it with Window Depot. Oh, and you can redo your windows as well, because they are more than just a window store. Gil, I know you keep saying Window Depot, only windows. That is not true. It's more than just a window store. You looking for cabinets? They got it. You looking to redo your bathroom with some new sinks, maybe some new flooring? I mentioned that. They're new in the flooring business. They got it down in their Tucson store. It'll be in all 7 Arizona locations, not just the Valley. It's all state here with it. So you can get that. Plus, they are loved by builders and they are loved by consumers. You can order online at thewindow.depot.com and get it for pickup, or you can visit one of those 7 Valley locations and get everything you need for that next project, because Window Depot is more than just a window store.
And also, we love telling you about our friends over at Circle K. Always consistent, always here for you. If you missed the Inner Circle Fuel Day a couple of weeks ago, you missed 40 cents off per gallon on unlimited fill-ups that day. But beyond that, you can save on exclusive energy drinks like the Ultra Punk Punch Monster. You can buy 2, get 1 free, or you can buy 2, get 1 free of the 12 and 16 ounce Celsiuses. I know Gil has definitely tapped in with that deal, as I've seen you leave Circle K like a thief with a bag over your arm with all the Celsius. But you paid for them, of course, because they came at a reasonable price for the meal deals as well. A hot dog and chips and a Polar Pop. Guess what? It's only going to run you $3. Plus, you know that I love Circle K because guess what? They give me hand sanitizer and gloves to fill up my gas. And you know what? I don't care. I'm a germaphobe and I will embrace it. Look, join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply. At participating locations, visit circlek.com for full details. So hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button.
Jalen Green's the #1 trending topic in the world right now.
Well, that's huge. Can I bring us down?
No.
Breaking news from Sean Sharania. Dillon Brooks has suffered a broken left hand and will be sidelined. Not any
indefinitely.
Not any time.
Broken right hand?
Left hand.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
A broken left hand for Dillon Brooks.
That does not surprise me based on the way that they were looking at his hand.
Right. And the way he was looking at his hand.
I mean, he came over with that and went right to the trainer, and they were looking there. That does not surprise me with it. You got to wonder too if there's a guy that would ever try to find a way to play,
of course,
with that, depending on how the break was. It seems like a guy like Dillon Brooks that would. So that's tough, but this team seems to just be up against it all the time this year, and it's gonna be difficult. So
this team is continuing to get more tough battles thrown their way, and we will see the strength that's thrown at them. I think the biggest takeaway I have from that Shams tweet, I think he was the one that reported it first. Doctors will meet to determine a timetable. So to your point, Espo, they're going to exhaust all options to figure out how quickly they can get him back on the court. It's his non-shooting hand. Obviously, he's a player who is very physical in the way he plays, so he gets his hand in the mix and stuff like that. So they're not going to bring him back unless it's safe to do so. But you better believe that all options to get back playing are going to be explored as indicated here.
Yeah, and again, there's so many complexities. We talked about it on the watch along. How many bones are in the hand? Where is it? Is it a full break? Is it a hairline fracture? What are we dealing with? So it'll be interesting to see what comes of everything in terms of the medical examination on it, but a broken hand is one of the last things that you wanted to hear coming out of this. And you add it on top of all the other injuries this team suffered this year. Ain't great, Bob.
And we're waiting on Jordan Goodwin news too.
It's confirmed a calf injury. That was what Jordan Ott said post-game. Has not been said anymore, but he will be going in for an MRI tomorrow. So he needs to get imaging done, which is not great. Look, it's another blow for this team. Now, here's the thing about the Dillon Brooks injury. The good news is it is not a soft tissue injury, like a ligament injury. Like a break can sometimes be a better outcome depending on what the break is for timetable to return and how your hand heals from it. This isn't a good thing.
No.
But hopefully he can line up to be back in time for a play-in, playoff run.
Yeah, I mean, again, just depends on what it is. I mean, you can have a break where it's, you can try to play with it because there's no chance of further injury to it. But I don't know. We're gonna have to see. And I don't know what this team does now that Haywood Highsmith signing, and it's like, hey, is that timetable really going to be 2 to 3 weeks? Mm-hmm. Can we expedite that? Amir Coffey, how you feeling? You want to give us some minutes? Like, you're going to have to dig deep. Is there another guy out there that you're like, you know what? We need anything we can get. Why don't you come on in and give it a shot too? Isaiah Livers, start making some shots because we're going to need you out there as well. Ryan Dunn, time to step up. Like this team's always been with the next man up. Doesn't matter. It's another game tomorrow, literally, and we're going to go out there and do it. Well, guess what? You got to do it yet again.
So many questions to your point. You started naming names about what the starting lineup's going to look like now, how it's going to fluctuate. And the way I see it is you got to look at, okay, Dillon's minutes, and we saw Ryan Dunn play a lot. We saw Grayson Allen start overtime after Dillon Brooks exited the lineup. And thinking about more minutes for Jamari Bouye, who played 2 minutes today, because Jordan Goodwin not being available means you have a chunk of guard minutes that have become available. Dillon Brooks not playing. You mentioned Amir Coffey didn't play tonight, so is he back in the rotation?
He's gonna have to be.
Is this the time you call on Rasheer?
Look, all options are on the table at this point, and you've got to try anything if you're Jordan Ott to figure it out, because right now you are still in a good position. And if you can find something to bridge the gap until whenever he can come back, then all options are possible at this point. And if you look at Rasheer and you go, you know what, we were waiting a little bit because we don't want to rush our rookies. Well, guess what? Sometimes the plan can't be the plan. You just have to go with what you're dealt. And right now they're dealt a situation where they're going to have to try every option to figure out how to fill in the gaps right now.
The defense is going to take a absolute brutal hit, because I know Jordan Goodwin is a guard, but he's basically a forward for this team. You're losing, I mean, honestly, you're losing your two best defensive players.
Yeah.
You
I think that's
in
fair.
Today's game and we don't know how long Jordan Goodwin's going to be out, but if he's getting imaging done tomorrow, I can't imagine that he's going to be back sometime soon. Right. So as of right now, going forward, you know you're going to be missing Book for at least a week. He'll be reevaluated with a right hip strain in a week. Okay.
You know that it's Devin Booker. He's going to be pushing now that that Dillon. I'm not saying he'll come back before that timeline, but you know that he's going to be pushing that you were bringing me back right at that point.
So you've got a week-ish without Book minimum. You never know with the reevaluation. Haywood Highsmith, they announced earlier today, as he recovers from his right knee surgery in the offseason, 2 to 3 weeks before he's reevaluated.
Do you think that might slide? Because to me, he was supposed to
play
in Brooklyn on February 11th. If this is this training staff wanting to get familiar with him, this team wanting to slow play it, I wonder if you reconsider that now with Dillon Brooks out, because that is a guy that can help provide you with some of the things that Dillon does. He is a great point of attack defender and does some of those little things, and you're going to need it now more than ever. If this was just we want to be the utmost cautious with this, you might have to throw caution to the wind and say, you know what? Winning and trying to make these playoffs are more important than sitting there for 2 or 3 weeks trying to decide on
So
it.
interesting thing about that timetable, and I got a chance to finally get out to 5G yesterday. I didn't get a chance to see it happen. Obviously, they didn't let us in while he was doing testing, but we did talk to Haywood Highsmith after practice, and they asked him what he's going through right now to check boxes. And it kind of seems like, or reading between the lines, it feels like he got a clean slate as far as like the recovery thing. So whatever was going on, whatever timetable he got in Brooklyn, they were like, that has nothing to do with us. And it kind of feels like they're testing all of his lateral movement, his ability to land and jump off of one leg and do all those things.
Supposedly was dunking.
Supposedly he was. He dunked a couple times pregame. It was interesting to hear him talk about, I feel good. I'm trusting my body to do things again. And like, I think that maybe it's part of his mental as well. And honestly, my thought as I'm talking out loud and thinking through it, maybe there is a threshold of how many practices they want to see him go through, because as we all know, at this point in NBA season, you don't really practice that much. Yeah. So I think that what it seems like and what it feels like is they want to see him practice a certain amount of times before throwing him in the fire. But
can we host 4 practices in the next 3 days?
Well, I also think with Haywood, because it's another year as well, that if there's any concern when he's in Brooklyn, it's like, I need to audition. I don't want to be here. I want to get out of here.
Technically not another year though. It's a partially team guaranteed
next year.
So like,
but that's the thing is you at least have that where it's like, okay, we envision him maybe next year. They don't want to rush him back. I don't know. All I know is that today they gave out an official notice 2 to 3 weeks before he's reevaluated. We'll see if that changes. Honestly, I doubt it though. And then now you're no Dillon Brooks for, I would imagine, at least a month, it feels like, until he's back. If he is playing again, he's going to be playing hampered. And now Jordan Goodwin, who knows? This is a team that is taking hit after hit after hit after hit. And if they can continue to tread water like they have been, it will continue to be impressive. The good news in all of this is none of the injuries that I've said as of right now have a timetable that takes you into the middle of April, which I don't care what happens. This team will be playing in at least the play-in. I think there's enough cushion in between them and the 11th seed right now. This team shows that they are going to fight no matter what. They didn't have all of those guys today, except for Goodwin for the first half, and they still found a way to power through and win. So it is unfortunate that all this is happening, and I know I just said it on the last post game, how much it sucks with all the injuries, and as a Suns fan, it's very disheartening, and it feels like the curse is real. None of these injuries, as of right now, are injuries that are like, okay, you are guaranteed done for this season.
Yeah, but broken hand and no timetable, and
that's not good. That's the worst one so far.
That's a concern. Yeah, we'll find out about the calf. We've seen soft tissue injuries with this team and what it's taken. Look, all those guys, I can't worry about Dillon Brooks' hand. I can't, like, they can't worry about any of that. The guys that can play have to step up. And Rasheer Fleming's a guy. We've got questions. Could you technically bring Cole Anthony in? He's not off the team. I think you'd have to find out, like, Jordan Goodwin blew out his calf and is done, and then really consider that. But I'm taking a look at what other guys are on the buyout market. Is there anything that I can potentially do to kind of back up all this? Because you don't have a choice right now. Like, if you're on this roster, figure out how you can help and figure out what you can do. Dig deep, Ryan Dunn. Rasheer Fleming, find yourself. Like, this is the time. This is the way you're going to prove yourself. And a guy can really make a name for himself when other guys are, out injured. So.
And it's familiar territory a little bit too, right? Like, we talked about this team and guys playing outside of themselves, next man up mentality. And at this point in the year, this team is 57 games in. There's 25 games left in the season. It's kind of wild to think we're 25 games away from this first finish line. But when you have guys step up or guys play a larger role or a different role than they have been asked to play in the past, sometimes it makes it more difficult for other teams to scout for you and prepare for you, because there's no tape on it right now. There's no tape on what Amir Coffey looks like in this system when he's playing 15 minutes. And maybe you can catch back to, we talk about catching people off guard. I think that's the other part of catching people off guard, is just doing stuff that they have no idea how to prepare for it. And obviously they will adjust with time. But just thinking about how that goes is something that intrigues me. And again, just getting creative is something they're going to have to figure out as well.
Yeah, people saying no more small ball. I mean, you just lost the second biggest guy in your starting lineup in Dillon Brooks.
Well, we were talking about it post Spurs game, Espo. You did a Southwest bias on it, where it's like the Suns needed their edge. Now, the good news is that they had their edge right tonight. So maybe it was just the Spurs are a really good team.
Could be.
First game out of the All-Star break, you lose Book in the middle of the game. So you know that this team can still bring it, and that's nice. And maybe, just maybe, this is very good for Ryan Dunn because you say it's your time to step up. Well, now you know you're needed. Rasheer Fleming, now you know you might be needed. The same thing with Amir, the same thing maybe with Haywood. It might allow the Suns to flesh out a couple of these backlogged rotation pieces on the wing that it feels like they've had of like who's going to be vying for minutes, who works out there. So this is not a good thing, but it is certainly one I think the Suns can survive, at least in theory. We're going to have to see how they do it.
The way you survive is Ryan Dunn or Rasheer Fleming proving that they can play quality minutes and that they can play defense. That's the only way.
And the big thing I was thinking about with them as well, specifically with Ryan and Rasheer as well, we talked about this before. The confidence of a young player is so different when they're not looking over their shoulder every time, thinking that as soon as they make a mistake, they're getting pulled. Well, nobody go in for you at this point.
The cupboard is bare.
You cannot get pulled. So you have to go out there and play freely. We just saw Rasheer and Man playing in Sioux Falls last night with the Valley Suns. That is a big confidence builder. Now, take that same mentality. It's going to be much harder to play against NBA players, but have that same mentality because they're not getting pulled there. So now you know you're not getting pulled here. Play with that confidence. Do what you do. Be a positive and don't think about not messing up.
So I want to just say one name because we talk about, this is an opportunity for players to step up and maybe make a name for themselves. Colin Gillespie. This entire season has been Jalen Green's been out. Grayson Allen's been out. Devin Booker's been out. You want to know who's been there? Colin Gillespie. You want to know who stepped up in all of this and is now completely established a role to where he's starting a majority of games when he wasn't going into the season? Colin Gillespie. Who's to say that there's not another name on here that can help do that as well? That's the hope with all of this.
And this team's a testament to that. You look at a lot of guys, they're either G League guys that have been left for done from other places. Like that is the entire mentality of this team. So they're going to have to do it yet again, and somebody's going to have to prove that they're ready for their opportunity, like Colin did, like Jordan Goodwin did when he got his minutes, like you saw Bouye do earlier in the year before his head injury. Somebody has to step up, and this team's done it time and time again. Who's it going to be? Everybody needs to look in the mirror that's not already making that impact and decide if it can be them.
What we're going to do is we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to shift our focus back to the game because that is what deserves our attention. We're going to start reading your super chats. We'll name our blue collar boy. Steven will eventually call in on the other side of our final break. Mountain America Credit Union, the official credit union of the Phoenix Suns. That's right. Mountain America is a place that you can go for the My Style checking account where you can enjoy mobile phone protection, identity protection, telehealth access, restaurant deals, loan rate discounts, offers on travel and events, and Gil, you'll never guess it, more. That's right. There's even more there at Mountain America Credit Union. That's right, there's more. You can make My Style your lifestyle, or you can get the official card of the Phoenix Suns with that My Style checking account, or make it a credit card. A no annual fee credit card with available as low rate, cashback, or rewards cards options. Mountain America is here to guide you forward on your financial journey. And I heard if you go there and say, hey, where's Oso Ighodaro? They just got him in the back. They're going to bring him out, and he'll help you out with all of your financial journey.
I'm Oso Ighodaro.
Check out Mountain America Credit Union, who's here to help you at every Arizona branch. Visit macu.com/Suns to learn more. Insured by NCUA. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Loans on approved credit.
Guys, you know why I feel all right? Because I got high. Because I got high.
There you go.
Because I got high. With our friends at Pure Edible. They were founded in Arizona. They're available in 130 dispensaries. You can find them statewide. And why wouldn't you? Because we all could use a little pick-me-up right now, or a little help going to sleep, because our minds are going to be racing about what the heck the lineup looks like tomorrow. And Pure was created in Flagstaff, Arizona at the Noble Herb Dispensary, the home of Pure Edibles, and is now made in Phoenix. And you're going to love it. Their Pure gummies are not covered in sugar like all their competitors, which is helpful for somebody diabetic like me. Plus, Pure is a full-fledged candy company. This part not great for me, but offering gummies, kicks, their version of Starburst chews that are soft candies like caramel and hard candies, and pure is clear. Their effects are clearly listed on the tin, so you know what you're getting into. You gotta love it. So go find yourself some pure edible products from one of the over 130 dispensaries across Arizona.
Hit the like button, please. Hit the subscribe button, please. Let's get these good vibes back rolling. We got the bad vibes out of the way. That was the last segment. Let me kick off the good vibes by telling you we got 30% off of merch happening right now. Every single piece of merch. You see what these guys are wearing here? We got the PHNX hat. Look, you guys are wearing your villain shirts. It's okay. Show them off. It's okay. There we go. We got the villain shirts.
They're broken
great
right
shirts.
now.
You can use it as a get well soon shirt.
Dillon Brooks needs
hanky.
your positive energy now more than ever.
Using mine as a hanky.
Support all of the Suns merch, all the Cardinals merch, D-backs merch, ASU, U of A, Rising, the Arizona over everything, sports over everything line. That is all of it. 30% off. Hats, everything. So go to gophnx.com. Check out our merch sale. It's not going to be happening forever, so you definitely want to go check that out.
Actually, it's happening for 24, 28 more hours, so go check it out.
Till tomorrow night.
I was gonna say one thing. I'm not one to brag, but I do get a lot of compliments on this hat.
It's a great hat.
It is.
These are on there still, believe, so act fast because you can get compliments like me. I don't get compliments on myself. I get compliments on my hats. So,
Compliments to the designer.
Yes.
Buddha made me laugh. As he said, what I said made him remember that he smoked with Afro Man once. So
I mean,
hey,
that's a hell of a story.
Right.
Buddha. You're gonna have to come to the next watch party and tell us. Let's get back on track here. Let's read your super chats. Thank you all for sending your super chats. $10 from Psycho Blue says Basketball Cthulhu trialed. Is that what that says? Trilled in tongues. But I think he's trying to say about Jalen, yeah, real shooter. Matt, fire your medical staff. I can't trust this team to have an 08 Chris Jericho hair. I don't know. Sorry, that was a confusing one, Psycho Blue. Thank you, though. Gil, you want to read this next super chat?
From Hugh 6969. Tomorrow's injury report gonna be wild. Wild is probably an understatement. It's gonna be ridiculous.
40 pages long tomorrow. Yeah. Get ready. Chris, a $4.99 super chat, says, I know we won the game, but all these injuries are starting to make me think 6th seed is out of reach. What are your guys' thoughts? Anything is possible. I don't know. I didn't think we'd be sitting here talking about this team having any hope at the 6th. So
losing Dillon Brooks hurts. Losing Jordan Goodwin hurts. And I want to make sure that I am not mincing my words on that at all. Now, that being said, one thing that I noticed in the second half compared to the first half was ball movement.
Yes.
I feel like the team's ball movement really improved in that second half. And I think part of that is Jordan Ott seemed like he chewed them out at halftime for a couple of different reasons. And I'm not saying that Dillon isn't a positive who's on the court, but offensively, he does enjoy taking shots. Also, I don't think anything's out of reach as long as Book is back soon. That is kind of the big thing. If Jalen and Book and Grayson are all available, plus you don't lose a big man, I feel like you can salvage enough to win games because your schedule does get easier than what you've been through.
Yes.
It's still tough, but you have more games that you might not need a fully healthy squad to get through. That being said, Gil, it's going to be harder.
It's absolutely going to be harder. I think the thing that makes it hard is that it feels like we're starting to see the clusters form in the Western Conference standings where we know OKC and San Antonio at the top, and then there's that next phase with Houston, LA, Minnesota, and Phoenix is clinging to hang kind of in that group, and Denver's in the top spot as well.
I think really it's Lakers Suns right now in that group below Minnesota and Houston. I think that's where we're looking.
I'm curious about Houston because I still don't know. I feel like there's just like some susceptibility for things to kind of fall apart there.
I'm sure the vibes are great. Don't you see the admin posting them dancing on social media?
All right,
I'm sure that's all that's happening.
They only posted that because things are super.
Things are awesome.
I got sent to them in the DMs first. I thought this is a great video. We
They probably decided that in a boardroom.
Probably.
Yeah.
But the other part of it, though, on the back end, though, I think you feel comfortable. Who knows? I don't know what the trajectory is. Steph Curry's out for more time. The Clippers are doing whatever. Kawhi said the window's over within, and we know
that was crazy.
That crazy thing, man.
You think he knows? You think he knows he's about to get suspended?
Maybe.
Oh,
is that what it is?
That came out,
or he's about to get suspended and have his contract nullified?
Come sign here. There's plenty of room left on the wing.
I don't think there's any chance they fall out of the plan. I don't think
no.
But I guess to your point, what I was going to say, it feels like they're firmly locked in 7. I think that the Steph situation and Jimmy situation feels like the Warriors aren't going to move up. They're not going to make enough ground. I think the Suns are either going to move up or stick in 7.
I hope so. We'll see. If there's anything I'm not going to do with this team, it's doubt them. Because if you told me to this point that Jalen Green wouldn't have played over 30 minutes until today, damn it, today.
No, it's tonight now.
I guess it's tonight. I'll
allow
sunset during the game.
If you told me that, and then you told me the Suns would also be 9 games above 500, which they are right now, I would have said there's no way, right? So when you break down what's happening now, how different is it from what's been happening? Instead of missing your offense, now you're missing your defense. So are you able to maybe shift your identity a little bit to overcome that?
That's the only way
it's a concern.
Is this offense now has to find itself in a way that we haven't fully seen it this year to pick up the slack. Because as much as I'd love to sit here and blow sunshine up your ass about it, the defense is going to take a big hit. Mm-hmm. So now, to your point, Eric, Jalen Green has to take over this offense. You can't afford Grayson to have some kind of relapses in his injury. Devin has to come back quickly, and then you need a handful of other guys to step up to keep the defense passable. That's your path to continuing to succeed.
Yeah, let's put a pin in Super Chats here because you mentioned Grayson Allen. I do want to get back on with this game and name our blue-collar boy of the night. It's got to be Mr. Exciting White. Grayson Allen off the bench in his first game back in quite some time with a knee injury and then the right ankle sprain. He was questionable, a game-time decision, and guess what? He showed up and said it's game time. 27 points in 33 minutes. Not the best shooting percentage, but that's okay. We're still giving people awards with poor shooting percentages tonight. 6 rebounds and an assist. 3 of those rebounds offensive, a +6 on the night. Plus, Grayson Allen was somebody 7 rebounds, 2 assists. I was reading Jordan Goodwin's stat line. Grayson Allen put the team on his shoulders in that overtime period, scored 7 straight points, was the only reason why the Suns were able to really get back into it. And Gil, they're going to need him to perform like he did tonight in order to tread water, and he was fantastic.
Scored all 7 of their points in overtime. That was it. And the team was 2 of 11 in that period. He was 2 of 4. So the team outside of Grayson Allen was 0 for 7. I think that when you talk about these games that feel like marathons, there's always somebody who has a little bit extra in that reserve. They're just as tired as everybody else, but they will a couple shots in. They will a couple plays through. And that's how it felt like Grayson was. He almost dunked on Wendell Carter Jr. with his offhand, and that drive really – not only did it get the team on the board in overtime and got him, he made those free throws, 7 and 7 from the free throw line in the game, but I think it just re-energized the group as well. In that moment when the team was down by 5 points, it seemed like the game was going to get away from them after all the clawing and fighting they've done all game. He was that centerpiece of everything like that. So now, as I'm looking moving forward, with no Dillon Brooks, with no Devin Booker, this guy who is a little familiar, can he be that source of energy from the get-go moving forward, because he's going to have to be.
Well, and you're going to need him to see him attack the rim like he did later in the game. That's a key. Eric brought it up during the watch-along, and it was an astute point, and it needs to continue to happen because when he puts that pressure on the rim, Jalen does that as well. It changes the dynamics. You can't just stay on everybody and close that ball movement off. It forces the defense to pay different attention, especially without Book and, yes, the word gravity. You gotta find ways to make it, and Grayson's going to be a key to that, and did it in overtime and did it in an effective manner.
Yeah, I mean, no Dillon Brooks also points to Royce O'Neal, who I think had a very underrated game tonight. Again, a poor shooting night for Royce, just 6 points, but 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. He did his best against Paolo Banchero and actually did get some stops and unfortunately got scored on at some points. But I really feel like Royce O'Neal was this connective glue tonight that held the Suns afloat when he needed to be.
Yeah, certainly. And I think he played 46 minutes.
He played 46 minutes tonight. Him and Colin, 46 and then 45 minutes. Colin also had an amazing game.
And Royce just goes out there and it's like, all right, I'll do it. Whatever it is, these little things, there are a couple times he got offensive boards or defensive rebounds that helped help the team out. You need him to hit his shot though moving forward.
And
Like
to be fair,
that has to happen.
to be fair, it was a rough shooting night for everybody not named not named Jordan Goodwin. And Jordan also had a good night. But other than that, I mean, Grayson 8 of 22, Jalen Green 6-26, Colin Gillespie 6 of 17. You mentioned it. Royce 4 of 10, Dillon 2 of 7 in a short time he was on the court. So the fact that one of those dig deep wins that, I think it's kind of one of those things where you'll look back and be like, man, you lost a lot in this game in terms of injuries and things like that, but you're just happy that you came out with a win. All things that were working against you in this one.
Blake in the chat says Royce was not stopping Paolo. He actually had a huge stop in the overtime period.
Use that grown man strength.
Might have been a foul, but it wasn't called.
Use that grown man strength.
It was a stop. Look, we'll talk blue collarness. We're gonna talk the highs, the lows of this game, what the vibes were post game, and to do that, we got to get into our post mortem. Welcome in Stephen Prejean Garner live from the afterlife as the Phoenix Suns stayed alive in a double overtime win 113-110. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for Stephen. Stephen, I got to ask you, okay? You have been in the arena for some crazy moments so far this season. Where does the Jalen Green game winner rank?
Yeah, that's tough. I'll probably say it's third after Book and Collins game winners, respectively. That's probably where I would put that. And that's not even to undermine it at all. It's just the magnitude of those two, especially for opponents in which they were going up against them and the build up to those moments too. It was just very different from the way this one kind of came about. A game winner is a game winner, period. And that's the top tier moment that only so many people ever experience. Few people even experience a buzzer beater, let alone one to win the game and to also do it on your home court to be able to feel that embrace too. All-time game for Jalen Green in that particular moment. Now, everything that happened before that, I think the fact that he made that shot just speaks to his mindset.
Let's talk about everything that happened before that. It was not his best game from the field. Did you see him forcing it, pressing it, or was it just not his night? What do you think wasn't working for Jalen Green tonight?
Yeah, it was tough. It was definitely tough. You could feel him pressing at times. You could feel him maybe lacking the aggression he usually has at certain moments just by way of thinking things through a little bit more. I go back to the Warriors series for him last year. His first playoff series going up against a veteran, stout defensive unit. Now, obviously, Orlando doesn't have a Draymond Green, nothing close to that. And I want to start by prefacing that. But in terms of their approach to defending Jalen Green coverage-wise, a lot of late switches with Wendell Carter Jr. playing the role that Draymond did within that defensive scheme. And then they just ramped up their switching more and more over the course of that game. That feels like, just from my watching eye of him, and then we talked about this a lot in the film session I did stemming from that playoff series, this feels like the point of growth. Not too many teams can execute that coverage to the extents and depths that the Warriors did in the playoffs and Orlando did tonight. But there are a few teams in the Western Conference that have a big that can switch in those types of capacities, not always just at the level, but kind of a drop. And then once you get to a certain depth, now it turns into a switch. And at that point, you kind of missed windows for opportunities elsewhere. It's just trying to drag you into the deep water, play late in the clock, and shrink your options. It felt like it weighed on him over the course of the game. But again, this is a 20, just turned 24 years old. Like, this is somebody that's going to figure out how to press the right buttons against that. And I feel like because of that, those reps from today's game were very, very important for him going forward.
Was that final play a broken play? Because it looked like they were running the same play they had run for Grayson to try to get Colin on that over-the-head pass. And it kind of looked like Jalen just went, you know what, I got to get to open space when they found him.
Yeah, at Grayson, not Grayson, Jalen actually said in postgame that he had a conversation with Royce about that exactly. He's like, hey, we have the play, but that's probably not going to be there considering how much they were switching. And they also pressed that button one time, so you probably won't get a chance to get that same result again. So they kind of had a secondary option in mind if the primary action wasn't there. Naturally, that's where that came into play for Jalen to get the ball and do what he did, get into his right side, getting into the footwork and knocking down that much needed three for his confidence, but also for the team just to get back in the win column.
I feel like this is a very like bittersweet post game time for Suns fans, at least. Obviously, the news coming down from Shams about Dillon Brooks breaking his left hand, the news that you got from Jordan Ott about Jordan Goodwin going through an MRI tomorrow with a calf strain. What were the quote unquote vibes like in the locker room after the game? Did they skew a certain direction given the highs and the lows of this team experienced in quick succession?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. What I will say, it felt like finally damn type energy that they had. It was like, man, we needed to get back in the right side of the win column and do so on the terms that we wanted to. And I think to Jordan Ott's point, like 22, you won the game by 22 possessions. If you're doing that for a team that values those and you're doing it to that extent, I think numerically, like percentage wise, you probably win 98 and some change of those games if you win the possession battle by 22. So I think it was just like a finally we're right back where we want to be, and now it's about stacking and getting back in alignment with that part of their process game to game.
How move a little away from this game, looking into obviously tomorrow and the week that's coming up. How do you continue to stack with now Dillon out with that broken hand? You assume that you're looking at Goody out for a while. How do you find defense in that, and how do you pick up the pieces over the next couple of games?
Yeah, guys have to. I mean, the deck has to reshuffle yet again. Guys are role wise shuffling into different spots. Royce O'Neal, it was nice to have a lot of the things that you were bringing. Now they're in the position of saying we need you to do these things and we need you to do them. I think he played 45 minutes tonight. Like he's not going to play 45 minutes a night in a regular game night, but he might be closer to 36 or 37 minutes in the game just because their depth at that forward position, especially in the ways that they need that forward to operate on both ends of the floor, it's just not there in terms of numbers right now. So I think guys are going to be forced to just play different roles. Jalen's going to have to be obviously more aggressive, which he showed to be both tonight and in San Antonio. Other guys like Grayson, the way he picked his spots tonight, are going to have to step up. We probably see even more three-guard lineup constructs because that's just the position of depth that they have right now in retrospect to or in comparison to what the front court is looking like. So I think it's just that reshuffling, and I think it's also going to challenge the coaching staff. You got to think outside the box a little bit more with not just your approach in game, but also in preparation to get the most out of those pieces and also kind of sustain and streamline a kind of rhythm of success there too.
Keeping that wide lens, also, I know it's a big where does this team go from here that Espo alluded to, but thinking about where they were before today or this afternoon and the struggles and trying to find things out and searching for answers to win a game like this, despite the questions that you're facing moving forward, do you see this at all as maybe a breakthrough type thing that they can kind of leave these recent struggles behind them and use this as some momentum into a pretty important stretch that's coming up?
Yeah, Gil, 100%, man, 100%. And I say that because you played a game and a half and you only gave up 110 points. Game and a half, 110 points given up, held a team to 25% from three, and you held them also to 42% from the field in general. If you're talking about the Suns being successful, it might not always be dragging a team into the mud or into the deep water to these extents that they did tonight, which they really did against Orlando. But being able to have a semblance of that where maybe a team scores 114, 115, but they do it on 42%, and you're able to knock down your shots and force your turnovers while also taking care of the basketball to the extent that you did tonight to get you a 22 possession margin differential in your favor. Like it's going to take some things like that and the execution to be sustained. That's what we just got done talking about, them not having much of any margin for error as it was coming into the season. As they've seen some success, that margin for error hasn't done anything but grow less and less and less. And now it's the most sliver of a crumb of a remnant at this point. So they gotta find that opportunity and just continue to be the hammer and not be the nail in the ways in which they do in game process.
We have a question here from Russell, who is it in the form of a super chat for being a member. Russell has been a Hall of Fame member for 3 months now. That's big time, Russell. Also a diehard in all of our shows, so thank you. Says, sucks for the injuries today. We need to see Jalen carry the momentum. Question for y'all and Steven. How many more wins do we get by the end of the year? Offense needs to be involved more. Dillon broke his hand. Sad face. So let's focus on the question. After tonight, 25 more games left in the season. Steven, I'll start with you. How many more wins do the Suns get out of those 25?
Yeah, first of all, shout out Russell. We appreciate you always and your consistency with showing up for us in the ways that you do. I think the Suns are at 33 wins right now in the season.
Mhm.
So they have 24 games left?
25.
25, okay. I say they find a way to get to 13.
Okay.
I think they find a way to get to 13. So hovering up close to the 500 mark, but finding a way to just marginally escape that while also receiving the goods of the work they did before this inflection point that probably gets them either in the 7th seed or the 6th seed. And it's going to come down to who's in the 6th seed, what that tiebreaker situation looks like, and obviously the rhythm that the Suns are playing in. What do y'all think, though?
I think 13 is a good line. Hopefully they stay above 500 for the end of the season. I think they definitely can. But there's a chance that there's a little bit of a slide here.
My gut said 13. It puts you at 46, and 36 is kind of boring. We're all agreeing, but they're really just, I think that is a reason. There are a couple winnable ones here, and I think that this team knows more than most that they need to take care of business, especially knowing who's not going to be available moving forward.
Yeah, I think it's 12 or 13, and I think the game against the Lakers this week on Thursday is the game that will determine that 6th and 7th seed. I'm not. Yeah,
We were gonna leave. I was gonna leave it alone.
Russell
you
clarifies
just said
that
7th or 6th, Espo. You didn't have to go
I
in
could have.
ascending order. You could have went descending.
I went the logical way, and then I caught myself in the dumb thing. So
it's
I gave you the blueprint already. I said 7th or 6th.
you got to think ahead of things.
Sure.
Russell clarifies that he meant Mark needs to be more involved offensively. I know it's been a big topic, Steven. Go ahead.
Yes.
What do you have your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I think key number 2 for me was getting Jalen Green going and continuing to evolve his usage. In tandem with that, as we talked about on our 3 p.m. shows, especially once his return to the lineup was near, I mentioned him being as probably their best, because of the ways that Devin gets doubled, their best option to incorporate their bigs into the offense because of the attention he gets when he turns corners and the coverages that he sees. Now, we didn't see it to the extent that I think maybe he could have manipulated it to tonight, but we did see him find opportunities to hit Mark and the dunker after getting a drive. And then also we saw from Jordan Knott to start the third quarter. I think they ran maybe 2 plays directly for Mark to get the ball, but also Mark doing things to bend the game into his will and put his kind of fingerprint on it. Those rim run opportunities, protecting the rim, and then being able to get out in transition there. I think those things matter, but they got to find a way to have him be impactful when teams are switching. I think that's the thing that continues to kind of get in their way. I think Deborah had a question to me on our Mailbag Monday episode about what I'm looking forward to them addressing going forward. It was a switching, man. This was very much a physical playoff style defense they went against tonight. You can't have your 5s be reverted to offensive rebound, defensive rebound, and that's probably it for your team. They have to have some other impact outside of that.
Steven, any final thoughts on a win tonight? Anything you heard post game that you want to share with the people?
Yeah, Jalen was very happy for not just the opportunity to knock down the game winner in front of the home crowd, which he said is awesome. And he said he really appreciates the Suns fans and the ways that they've showed up for him through this highly adversity-filled season for him so far. But I think also the other thing is with Jalen, him talking about his teammates and everybody being in his ear the entire game saying, don't worry about it, the next one's going down. Talked about his embrace with Devin and the way that Devin's infused confidence in him. Not saying that he's someone that lacks confidence, because he definitely doesn't, but to have people that back you in moments where you aren't maybe at your best, you don't get that result that he got at the end, and the team doesn't get that result without their team chemistry being at a certain point to where there's a certain trust factor that they have. And then the other one for me is with Grayson, talking about these reps being very valuable that they had, especially in the second half, attacking the switches in multiple ways, getting positive results, whether the shots fell or not. They got the shots in process that they wanted more often. And these are very important for them going forward because you go up against Boston on Tuesday. That's a team that's going to throw a lot of switches at you. They've already gone against the Lakers, one of the highest switch rates in the league. Every team pretty much the rest of the way has at least some bout of defensive adversity they can bring to the Suns. So it's going to be fun to assess that.
Always fun assessing the game with you. We'll be back tomorrow, obviously, Steven, where you will be back at the morgue. We'll be talking to you then. In the meantime, make sure you follow Steven at StevenPG3. That is Steven with a PH. Thanks, Steven.
No MJ, but see y'all 23 hours.
All right, let's get to some more super chats here, boys, before we round things out.
Yeah, we've got Crusader X6 with the $5 super chat. It's weird. I can no longer remember the first 57 minutes and 58 seconds of the game, and that was the only shot Green took all game. F the Lakers.
That's real.
That was one of 2 shots he took.
That's
he had the layup. He only took shots in the last minute of the game. That was it. That was
definitely didn't take free throws.
I feel like I have to read the Braden one too here. It's celebrating his 1 month of membership. Thank you, Braden. Says Jalen Green and Espo are now tied for my love.
Wow.
We both love you too. I mean, if I could hit a game winner, I would too, but I can't. So I'm
have you been given the opportunity to?
No.
You might hit that shot. It's not like it has not been disproven.
I could hit a free throw, I think, but I don't think I could hit a game winner.
Make it happen. Perplexed Damn is celebrating 4 months of membership. We appreciate you as always. A great team win. I needed one more OT for West for double-double.
Probably for Williams double-double.
Williams.
Yeah, I almost bet on Mark Williams double-double. Doesn't matter. I still lost my bet anyway. I know everybody is absolutely floored and shocked and flabbergasted that I lost, but I saw that and I was like, oh, at least I didn't do that. It would have made me even more angry.
I mean, if you were betting for a Mark West double-double, you need a damn time machine to get that.
Maybe it's a comment from the past. Maybe it's a comment from the past.
Next one's you there, my friend.
Of course, be calm, see clearly. Always good to see you in here. Super chat from you. Where is Babe Steven at? Well, hopefully you were tuned in just now because Steven just joined us. Suns up, Seahawks salute.
Final boss Roy Mavia. 199 super chat says 4 to 6 weeks or 6 to 8 weeks for a broken hand. I think. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't get my doctorate at the U of A, and we're all glad that wasn't the case. I'd be a terrible doctor, but we'll find out soon enough.
I think the biggest thing is important to remember what the tweet said, that they're exploring all options. So it could be 2 to 4 weeks. It could be 5 to 7 weeks.
It could be amputation in place tomorrow. I don't know.
There are a variety of ways to
play. Imagine him playing in a soft club.
He would.
If they allowed that in basketball.
Cyber hand.
His jump shot would be pretty similar, even if he didn't have a guy hand. He just shoots with one hand, basically. I guess I'll read this one. Kev with a $2 super chat. Thanks, Kev. Says, imagine if Eric broke his left hand. Catastrophic. It's right here.
I mean,
it's good to go.
Him.
And I want to give a shout out to Highboy 4x4 with the 199 super chat. No text, but still a 199 super chat. Wanted to give you love.
We see you.
Final things from me here, guys. I want to make sure that we give love to Oso Iguodaro, who had a double-double off the bench, was closing the game until it got to overtime, and then Colin Gillespie, who almost had 20 points tonight. I believe the second leading scorer for the Suns. He was really, really good.
Our boy Math, the power of Joe, with his 5-month membership chat says, what an incredible shot. Fire emoji. I love it when this happens. Let's enjoy this incredible double OT win. Let's go Suns. F the Lakers.
I love that F the Lakers has just become a calling card for the end of super chats. Yeah, I think that's amazing.
Gonna get to do that on Thursday, hopefully. Take it straight to him. By the way, I don't know who it was that suggested maybe I should shoot the opening free throw, but
I'd love to see it.
You know what, you go to the Suns and ask them, and I'll see if need be. Anime and Hoops wants my purple pants tomorrow. I actually wore them yesterday because my daughter wore purple pants and said, let's match. So, but maybe I'll bring them out tomorrow as well.
There you go.
What are you guys' final thoughts on this game?
Survive and advance.
Yeah.
That's the theme for the rest of the year. Just keep finding a way to get those wins and chip away, even though Mr. Injury has chipped away at your roster. So.
Absolutely. I'm just glad that all of this that we went through. I hate the injuries, but to win, to the other side, it makes it a little it's very bittersweet, but at least it's sweet, some sweet to it. So I'm going to be starting to do some research at how much you got to do to get an injury hardship exception for a team, because we're starting to toe near that territory for sure.
This team can still win games. I am just refusing to give in to bad vibes. I got it out of my system with the Book injury before. I'm refusing to give into it. As we get out of here, we're 3 likes away from 100 likes. So let's try to get that before the stream ends. We will be back tomorrow, pregame, watch along, post-game show, all right here, which is very exciting. Hopefully the Suns can ride this momentum. Obviously, we'll keep you up to date with the injury report at PHNX_Suns with all the injury news that will be coming down in the next 24 hours. And if anything happens even beyond that, you would have known about Devin Booker and Haywood Highsmith's injury availabilities if you were following that on Twitter and on Instagram. Remember, 30% off merch sale until tomorrow night. Help support everybody over here. Get that nice hat, get those nice shirts, not just Suns, but all merch. 30% off a site-wide clear out. You can follow the Freckled Mamba behind the Mac, making all of the magic happen at Freckled Mamba. You can follow Espo at Espo. Catch up on Southwest Bias every weekday morning. You can follow Gil at Gil McGregor_. Check out the members only mailbag that these two did that's up on our channel now. I know a bunch of you have already seen that. All of you members dropping your super chats, that's there for you. So make sure you check that out. You can follow me at ERIKRUBY. We'll be back tomorrow, and hey, if every player on the roster gets injured, that means nobody else can get injured after that, right?
I won't be. I'm playing power forward tomorrow. Ahoy, ahoy.
We all silly like the mayor.